Hi, my name is Maureen Klewicki, and I'm the Program Director for the Cedars-Sinai Accelerator powered by Techstars. And I am here with Kim Bond-Evans, CEO of Seremedi. And we're going to talk a bit today about Seremedi and Kim's experience participating in the accelerator. So Kim, I will start by turning this over to you and just asking you to introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah. So my background has been predominantly in the enterprise software space, in performance and security software for the data centers, making sure that their databases and their systems are up and down, performing well and secure. I started out in technology as a software engineer and then transitioned to the business side and started doing marketing, business development, and M&A. And then here recently, after I left corporate companies, larger companies, I did some startups and really have been on the leadership teams of those startups.
Excellent. Okay, well, thank you so much. And so now I want to dive in and talk about your company, Seremedi. So I think what would be helpful is first just kind of an overview what Seremedi does, and then if you could talk a bit about how many people are on the team and the stage of the company.
Yeah. So Seremedi was inspired by my experiences. My mother's giver in the trenches for 6 months. We provide, from that experience, I saw a need, a gap in healthcare. So Seremedi fills that gap. And what we do is provide a patient care platform that enables hospital care teams to help their patients have better recovery outcomes while healing at home. So we provide this by, providing them systems and tools that allow them to execute better, and document the progress of themselves or their loved ones, and then report that back to the care team in an accurate and timely fashion. So the good news is, or maybe the bad news, Maureen, is that almost everyone has had an experience or knows someone who has. So it was not difficult to recruit people that I had worked with and who I hold in high regard to join the team, to really devote ourselves to solving this problem. Right now, it's about 8 of us, and that's a combination of FTEs, full-time employees, contractors, and advisors. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Yeah. So do you just want to, I just want to make sure that we caught it all. So you were talking about the 8 employees, which was a mix of full-time, if you could just start there.
Yeah. So we have about approximately 8 members on our team, which include a combination of full-time employees, some contractors, and some advisors, clinical advisors who help us with specific expertise areas. And then we have an offshore development team.
Okay, great. And so can you also just talk a little bit about sort of the stage of the company as you came into the program?
Yeah, we have raised about 3 million in angel. We've raised about 3 million from angels.
Great.
To date. So we are we are commercially available and had a couple of customers under our belt. So we were we had a nice model that we were executing on and tweaking as we go, but we were far enough along to at least stop and pause to say, is this a good program for us? Are we a good fit for them?
Yeah. No, that's great. That's really helpful to kind of have that context about where you were, and it sort of leads directly into my next question, which is, what made you decide to participate in the program? And kind of a follow-up is, was there one thing or one moment where you decided, okay, we're going to, go ahead and pull the trigger and do this?
Yeah, for me, it was not one thing, Maureen. It was actually, I would say, it was a more of a tipping point
Mhm.
where I just couldn't say no because of the Cedars-Sinai Techstars program was just so compelling to us. And I thought it was so aligned with my vision on where I wanted to take the company and the help that I could receive from that program to get there.
Yeah.
So after I had the initial call with Omkar and Christy, I was intrigued. And then when I visited the Cedars-Sinai team on site and met with Matt and you and Elena and the rest of the team, I was totally committed at that point because I just knew that based on everything that Cedars-Sinai Techstars program had to offer, it was the absolute right thing to do.
Yeah. And so what were you kind of looking for at that point, kind of building up to this tipping point that you're talking about?
Well, as I said, we had a good idea on our value, but there were still a lot of unanswered questions. We needed to really do some additional validation of the market, of the pricing, of other areas where we may be of value. And the way Cedars-Sinai, the accelerator is structured, it allowed us to address all of those things in one program. It's so rare to go into an accelerator where you have unfettered access to clinical and healthcare administrators, business leaders in a hospital, and could ask all of your questions on pricing, on, is this the right specialty for us? Are there others we should look at? How do we operationalize? Cedars really had it all. And the other thing that was just absolutely just again so compelling was the willingness, the give first attitude. So everything was in place, and the willingness, the will to help us was there.
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, you can't say no to that. That we found our right partners to help us go to the next level when
That's
we
great.
learned all of that.
That's excellent. Okay, so I want to talk to you about what was your experience, once you got into the program with the mentors on the Cedar side and on the Techstars side?
Yeah. So I would say that certainly with the Cedars mentors, the Cedars-Sinai hospital mentors, I'm going to put actually there's three categories that I'm going to say just completely overshot and overachieved. The Cedars-Sinai mentors, the Techstars, the Cedars-Sinai Techstars team, and even the extension of the Techstars network completely overachieved. And first of all, be the willingness, as I mentioned before, to step in, roll up their sleeves. There was not a question or a request that went unmet. Not only did they gave us what we asked for, any request that we made was honored. Questions were answered, but the gift was they gave us stuff we didn't even know we needed.
Yeah.
And said, okay, I know you asked for this, but here's some other information that we feel will be useful to you. Or given what we asked, I don't think you're asking the right question. You should be going after this or that.
Yeah.
That's priceless.
Great. That's wonderful to hear. And so do you think that, kind of given where you were, your stage as a company, this was an appropriate time to participate in a program like this?
I absolutely do. I think one thing that I think is important for the community to know, anyone who's assessing the Cedars-Sinai Techstars program, there's such a deep bench of expertise at every stage a company could be at in its life cycle. Whether you're just starting out and don't have a clue on how you want to take your idea that's in the abstract to the concrete, or whether you are you have your MVP, or at our stage where you have a product on market and a couple of customers under your belt, there's really such a vast network of expertise that can help a company at any stage in this program.
Excellent. And so I guess the last and final question in this short podcast is, would you recommend this program to a company that was similar to yours? And if you would, what advice would you give to them in advance of participation?
And my answer is an absolute yes. I would highly recommend the Cedars-Sinai program. First of all, I think it's an exceptional program, and you guys have done it right. There's really no element that was left that was not thought through. It's comprehensive. It's well done. I would say to anyone who's considering coming on board, I would say be open to having a transformational experience and trust your Cedars-Sinai Techstars team. Trust their guidance and their recommendations as you make your final decisions.
Great. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to answer the questions.
You're welcome. I'm absolutely delighted to do so. Have a great holiday season.
Yes, thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.